A very good afternoon to you all. Only the first bench is awake. A very, very warm welcome. It's my privilege and honor to welcome the Honorable Chief Guest, Mr. T. Gangadhar, distinguished guests, President and Director, Dean, colleagues, and a very special warm welcome to the parents and family members of all the graduating students over here. So big round of applause for the welcome of As we proceed for the much-awaited award ceremony, I request Shubhi Sharma of MICA Council of Student Affairs to present a token of our appreciation to the chief guest. Shubhi, yes? Let's see what you are presenting. So, thank you for gracing us with your presence, Mr. Gangadhar. This plant symbolizes growth and sustainability and our commitment to greener future. Thank you, Shubhi. I invite the Dean, Professor Hegde, to introduce the chief guest.
Good morning. With nearly 30 years across advertising, marketing, and media, T. Gangadhar, known more popularly as Gangs within the industry, has a uniquely blended experience. Prior to Quotient Ventures, he has spent 14 years at WPP, where he last served as Chief Executive Officer, Essence Asia Pacific. Gangadhar previously held role at DDB Mudra, so he's not new to Mudra, and I just got to know that he was also associated with MICA, though I knew him more than 15 years back. So it's such a pleasure to see you here again, and it's a pleasure to know that you were associated with MICA earlier. So he was with Lolintas and Sony Picture Networks. While at Sony, he conceived and led the launch of the Indian Premier League, IPL, in 2008. Gangadhar, you may clap for him. Yeah. Gangadhar completed his MBA in Marketing and Finance from Karnataka University, Dharwad. A big believer in power of curiosity and simplicity, he is deeply passionate about building brands. He is keen about bringing meaningful change in the communications industry and has been one of the most vocal champion for diversity, inclusion, and equality in the Asia-Pacific region. Gangadhar's interests span cinema, consumer tech, behavioral science, and trivia. We are really honored to have you here, and very warm welcome to you, Gangs. Yeah.
Thank you, Professor Geeta. May I request Professor Mehta, President and Director MICA, to present a memento to Mr. T. Gangadhar. I invite both of you on the stage, please. And now I invite the chief guest to address the gathering. Thank you, Professor Mehta.
I thought I was doing well till I saw posters of myself outside the institute, and that is very intimidating. respected President and Director, Dean, students, parents. It's an honor to be here, and it's also a very surreal feeling because the very first time I came to the city is actually when I joined Mudra. It wasn't called DDB Mudra then. This was a zillion years ago. And I remember Mudra used to run a program called the MMTP, the Mudra Management Training Program, where I think they selected some 20 students from across the country, and 20 of us landed here. We stayed in the Chamaris. 3 months here, absolute blast, learning from the best in the business, and some lasting friendships were forged then, and they continue to be great friends now. And I think, if I remember correctly, MMTP was held under the aegis of MICA at that time. I remember my contract was with MICA. Anyway, about myself, very quickly, Dr. Hegde has already done a kind introduction. I come from a very modest background, from a middle-class family, originally from Bangalore, but then I spent a very large part of my life in a very small town. I'm not sure how many of you would have heard of it. It's called Karwar. It's on the border of Karnataka and Goa. Very small town. You have heard of it? Okay, great. Right, and I think those days, in my social circle, if we landed a job in a bank, we'd have arrived in life, right? I think it was like a secure job. And when I look back at where I've reached, I'm actually quite amazed. I'm very grateful, right? And I say that not to beat my own drum. I think if I can make it, I'm sure anybody can, right? So, again, of course, I've met some wonderful people along the way. People have carried me on their shoulders. I've had wonderful opportunities as well, and I'm grateful for those. So, luck has played an important role in this. And, please back yourselves and, have belief in yourselves, and I'm sure you'll make it as well. Like I was kindly introduced by Dr. Hegde, I am now part of a holding company called Quotient Ventures. So Quotient Ventures comprises of 3 companies, 2 agencies. One is called Tilt Brand Solutions, one is Vector Brand Solutions, and the third one is a production outfit called Studio Q. Some of the clients we work with are sort of Dream 11, Ultratech, Myntra, LiveSpace, Licious, Flipkart, etc., right? I would call myself a career advertising man, right? I think barring a couple of years in broadcasting, I've pretty much spent my entire year entire career in creative agencies and media agencies. I'm often asked why I chose advertising as a career. As far back as I can remember, I've always wanted to be in the movies business, right? But being from a small town, you sort of really don't know how you can break into that industry. I also happen to be fascinated with ads, and somehow advertising then became like a default second sort of option. And it's something I sort of decided when I was in college, saying, you know what, I want to be in advertising. Of course, I also thought it was a very glamorous industry. 30 years down the line, I haven't seen any glamour at all, right? But it's an industry that can give you a high, right? I often equate the business as a bonfire on a cold night where interesting people share interesting stories, right? And you meet any ad man, the one thing he'll never be short of is stories, right? I remember not very long ago, like losing an entire pitch presentation. We had a pitch for Britannia. When I was in the Bangalore office, half an hour to the client office, and I realized I don't have the pitch deck, right? At least the latest version of it. The last changed version was at 6 a.m. that morning. So the pitch deck was literally constructed in that 30 minutes from our office to the Britannia office, right? And we went on to win that business, right? And those are some of the things that you'll see in advertising. There is nothing called no. People make things happen. There's a certain resourcefulness that you'll always see in an advertising person, right? You'll also see that ideas never leave you, right? Whether you leave an agency, you will still carry those ideas. I remember this one occasion where we had presented an idea to a client in 2001. I used to be in Lintas, Bangalore those days. It had cleared the brand manager, the marketing head, the CEO of the company had approved it as well. In fact, it was seen as very cutting edge. It went all the way to the chairman, who was a celebrated person, and his first reaction when we presented the script to him was oops. So oops is still a very legendary word in Lintas Bangalore, right? And that's what he said. And he didn't, he didn't agree to run that campaign because he thought it was like way ahead of its time. Now, cut to 12 years later, and I'm in a different agency. I've got nothing to do with Lintas, right? And I'm actually on a road trip with the CEO of the company, who was not the CEO then, the new CEO of the company, and my ex-colleague, Joseph George, who used to be the chairman of Lintas at that time. And on that trip, over drinks, we actually started reminiscing about the olden days, and we actually started almost presenting the same script. Now, believe, I'm not in the same agency, right? I work for a different agency. I have no stakes in this idea at all. And we presented that script to him again, and he was absolutely blown away, right? So a script presented in 2001 eventually got made in 2013 under a different team. And that script and that film is a Tanishq remarriage film, right? So, and that's the, like I said, that's the DNA of an ad guy, right? I think ideas will never leave you. Again, I'm not here to sort of dole out, hand out advice. I don't have any advice, nor am I here to talk about the future of advertising and AI, et cetera, et cetera. I'm sure you have more capable people telling you about that than I. But what I would like to share with you are my own personal learnings, in the 30 years that I've spent, in this industry. And, in hindsight, these are the softer aspects that I wish I could have done better, right? What do I do now? So these learnings are what I use today to shape culture at my workplace, at our workplace, right? And I believe they're important sort of softer aspects. And again, in no particular order, right? The first one is authenticity, right? None of what I'm going to tell you is going to be new news to you, but I feel, especially after the pandemic, I think the dynamic has shifted quite significantly, right? And I feel some of these software aspects are very important, both for organizations. It's very important to sort of, make sure that these become part of your culture, and also for people who work in these organizations, because I think that's what provides a happy working space. So I think organizations have a responsibility to build a safe space for people to bring their real selves to work. I think, usually, at least in my generation, we had a real self and we had a game face. We would come to work with a game face, right? So there's a certain duality that we dealt with, all the time. I'm not really a fan of what Mr. Narayan Murthy said about the 70 hours, off late. But what I do remember him saying 20 years ago is something that sort of struck with me and resonated with me. There was an interview of his in which he spoke about challenges facing the Indian workforce. And he said that the culture, unlike the West, the culture in our homes and the culture at work are vastly different, including the language that we speak, right? And this duality can create conflict. It's a daily challenge for people to kind of switch on and switch off, right? And as a result of which, you're not really bringing your real self. And it's not just in India. You see this in, when I was running Asia Pacific, I saw this in many Southeast Asian countries as well, Indonesia, for example, right? So it's called covering. You're not sort of really bringing your real self. You're bringing a self to work that you think is acceptable at the workplace. I think organizations are beginning to recognize that, they must create environments for people to come with their real selves, for people to be vulnerable. And vulnerable is a hugely underrated strength, right? I remember this meeting, not so long ago, probably a couple of years ago, where we were in this high stakes pitch and we were defending that business. And the client at the end of the presentation had gone well. The client at the end of the presentation asked a question, which was a curveball, admittedly a curveball. And the person leading the pitch for my team just said, I don't know the answer to your question, but I'll come back and I'll think about it and I'll come back and let you know, right? And eventually we won the business, and it was that candor, right, that actually swung it in our favor. We didn't try to wing it, right? I think at that point, that manager was willing to be vulnerable. right? So there's a huge, a lot of value to bringing your real self to, and I face this as well. I think I just told you I've come from a small town, right? I think to come to a small town, big bad world of advertising, big city, it can be intimidating, right? Organizations have to make sure that they create a safe space. Also, I think increasingly, try not to be your job title. Try to be you, right? A lot of times, again, this is true for my generation. Our designation has ended up being the only marker of our identity, right? You take the designation away, there is no identity, right? Again, 15 years ago, I felt I was burnt out, and I quit advertising, right? I was like, I need a break. And suddenly from strategic planning VP, I was unemployed, right? And from getting invitations to drinks every single day when I was working to people just dropping off the grid like flies, that wasn't fun, right? And then you realize, and this is not like I'm not moping about it. This is how it is, right? Because my identity was my title. I think, you take my title if there's no reason for people to engage with me. I think it's a bit different with this generation. That today I see people are not just putting the designations. You talk about dog parent and marathon enthusiast and something else, and also what to do at work, right? So people are actually embracing different facets of their personality. Please do that, because don't just your job define who you are. And also, I think when it comes to vulnerability and authenticity, I think organizations should take away the pressure of stigmatizing work-life balance. We sort of take it for granted, but in many organizations, believe me, it's still, if you leave at 6 p.m. in the evening, they'll say, hey, half day today, right? So there is a systemic stigmatization, of people who choose to pursue their passion outside of work, right? Actually, you should encourage them to choose that passion, because I think that is really what makes the work a lot more richer, right? If you hire interesting people who have interesting interests, I think that'll actually translate to the work that they do at your workplace, right? So the first one is sort of authenticity and vulnerability. The second one is I'm a huge believer in curiosity. I think I can't emphasize enough how, no matter how many years you have under your belt, I think curiosity is the only thing that sort of keeps you young and contemporary, right? I remember, again, we used to have this digital planner, in my previous, workplace. He was quite competent at his work, and around that time, we were helping a company launch a brand of chocolates in India, right? This is probably 6-7 years ago. And I remember I was having lunch with this client, and she was telling me, what, I don't care whom you change on the business, but I want this guy on the business. And I was like, yeah, sure. But I was just curious to say why she was insisting that this guy work on the business. And she said that apparently in some meeting, I wasn't there, this person, he was a young guy, he was probably 5 or 6 years in the business, digital manager. He kept asking her questions about, why are you launching chocolates in peak summer? Are you confident about your cold chain? Are you confident you have, the product will sort of stay stable, in markets where you don't really control the distribution? Very valid questions, right? And outside the field of digital planning, right? Now, clients see that as a cue, as somebody who's interested and invested in their business, right? And that's the kind of people clients want working on. And some of you will go and be clients in your own right. These are the kind of people you want working on your business, right? Somebody who goes beyond the call of duty, is genuinely, truly, interested in your business. I'll give you a contra example as well, right? I think in the earlier days, at least when I was growing up in advertising, ad agencies were way ahead of clients, right? Agencies led clients in terms of trends and what is happening in the world. And then the internet happened, and then the information knowledge got democratized, right? Now suddenly the agency's role becomes slightly different from what it used to be in the past. And I remember this is a story told to me by a client, not about us, about another agency, that he said, he apparently told this agency that he was going to put the business on a pitch because he was not happy with the performance of the agency. And of course, the CEO, the head of planning, and the creative director, they all rushed to the client's office in Delhi, wanting to understand what exactly the client had issues with. And as it turned out, client said, you know what, I don't get any learnings from you guys. You're not sharing any sort of trends that are happening, amongst a bunch of other things. So then they put together a plan. The clients, they asked the client to hold off, and give them a chance to sort of redeem themselves. And they came back and they sort of started sending these sort of newsletters to the client, telling them what's happening in which part of the world, generally in the world, and what's happening in that business. This is a fintech, a banking client. 6 months, cut to 6 months later, the client called for a pitch, right? And the same three guys went back to Delhi and said, what the hell happened, right? I think, we agreed on these action points, and from what I understand, we have sort of delivered on this without fail. The client says, yeah, of course you have, but everything that you shared with me as trends is something I already read 3 weeks ago, right? So if anything, you only sort of revalidated that you cannot be behind me, right? If I'm ahead of you, then I must question what value you're adding to my life, right? So be curious, try to stay ahead of the curve, and that is something that's going to come in really handy. Simplicity. Again, think, like I said, I think it was also in my intro, right? Curiosity and simplicity. We take a lot of pride in complicating things, right? And that's how I think maybe it's conditioning. I have seen so many ideas and solutions rejected because they are too simple. And I honestly don't know what too simple means, right? It just feels, I think it's almost become like a shorthand for, oh, lazy. You've not thought this through. This is too obvious, How many of you have heard of Occam's razor? Right, so Occam's razor, there are many definitions of it, but it essentially means that, if there are different sort of explanations or answers to a particular phenomenon, right, I would investigate the simpler option first, right? The simpler option is that has the least amount of assumptions, right? So you have to, I think, you have to start keeping things simple, right? And even in communication, I remember there was a time when we presented a campaign to a client. Everybody liked it, including the CEO, but the marketing head didn't like it. The marketing head today is a very eminent, lovely guy, very, very bright, but just that he didn't warm up to this particular campaign. He's a very active and strong, one of the top voices on LinkedIn right now, but he just didn't like the campaign. And we threw, he kept throwing questions at us, and we tried to answer the best we can, and this was happening in front of his boss, who's the CEO, till he said, X, that is his wife, will not like this campaign. Right now, there is sort of no go back to that, right? If you say the client's wife doesn't like the campaign, that there's special you can do. So, and then we came back and we said, hey, you know what, we'll come back. So an overzealous brand manager literally took that comment from the client seriously and showed that campaign to the wife. Unsurprisingly, he dissed it, right? And by evening, 5 o'clock, we had an email saying that these are the wife's comments. And she absolutely crapped on it, right? In 30 seconds, the CEO, that is this person's boss, responds saying, all this proves is the man knows his wife well. Right? And we ran that campaign. Right? And I thought that was a very simple way of actually tackling, but it was, and obviously because it came from his, from his boss, it obviously landed a lot more strongly. So I think there's a lot of value, in simplicity. Sometimes, sometimes simple facts can be stranger than fiction. When I was in Mudra, we had a pitch. The morning of the pitch, the pitch was on a Monday morning. We all, those were the days of physical artworks. You don't do them anymore. You actually take physical sort of layouts and present to clients. We came in the morning, Monday morning, the meeting was at 11, and we figured that the artworks had absolutely been destroyed. So what happened was, somebody had forgotten to, so Mudra used to be, this is when I was in Mudra. Mudra used to be in an independent bungalow in Bangalore. And the studio guys had forgotten to close the windows. there was a monkey menace, and the monkeys actually got into the studio, absolutely trashed the studio, art layouts destroyed. So we had to now go and tell the client, we can't pitch. So client said, what happened? We said, some monkeys destroyed our layouts. The client didn't believe us. The client said, come on, at least I give you, points for inventiveness, right? But come on, I don't believe what you're saying, right? But it was a simple truth, right? And so there is merit in keeping it simple. The next one is, and I think I've been guilty of not following this till until recently, is compassion. Please, no matter how well you do, please make sure you carry other people with you. And when you're interacting with people, you have no idea what demons they are going through. And I think I used to kind of be a very sort of tunnel vision, absolutely bullheaded person once upon a time. And I think when I moved to my last workplace, when I was in Essence, is really when I kind of, it opened my eyes to, say, hey, please be a little more considerate to people. And I've actually been a better manager for that, right? And I think the pandemic was a great example of this. I remember I took on the role of the APAC CEO just on the cusp of the pandemic in March 2020. And like many organizations, business was under pressure, and we were asked to downsize, right? And the target that was given was that we had to downsize at least 70 or 80 people. We had about 650 people in the region at that time across Asia Pacific, right? Very, very, tough times, and clearly a very sort of emotional sort of an exercise. But what I was amazed with is we floated an idea and everybody embraced it. It actually came from somebody junior to say, hey, if we all volunteer that we'll take a certain pay cut, how many jobs can we save, right? And I've thought of that's absolutely amazing. I think at a time like this, for people to actually then, have other people's back, that was very humbling, and I learned a lot from, people way, way junior than I. And we could eventually actually keep those exits to just 4, and I think even those 4 were actually redundancies more than layoffs, right? So compassion, and I've sort of, I put a lot of premium on compassion now. I think it's very important to recognize that people have their own issues, right? And when people could have an off day, right? So just allow them. Again, in the pandemic, there was a uniquely Indian phenomenon that I noticed, is when you have, we used to have calls on Meet those days because Google used to be our client. So all our video calls used to be on Google Meet. And it's only in India that we saw people having meetings with their cameras off. You didn't really see it in other markets, right? Japan and Australia, all of them would have their cameras on. And I remember somebody who had just joined a company at that time, he kind of raised a big hullabaloo about this, and he was actually kind of pulling up a junior colleague, for having his camera off, till somebody told him that, that person actually comes from he actually lives somewhere in New Bombay, in very, very modest surroundings, right? So there's some 6 people in a house, it's very noisy. So he's actually taking the call from the toilet of his house, right? So, and these are real circumstances, how people have actually tackled the pandemic, right? Obviously his camera is off, right? He's embarrassed about them. There are people who are embarrassed about their surroundings, right? It's important to be considerate, to these kinds of feelings, right? So I think that was a big penny drop moment. Of course, you would think that people are not ready, they're lazy, they're just woken up. All of those could be true, but sometimes people will have genuine reasons for keeping cameras off. The other thing we actually encourage people to do is, again, how can I help a colleague during the pandemic? Till the pandemic, only emails were a terror, right? People had dreaded emails. But after the pandemic, people started dreading the calendar as well, right? Because suddenly you'd wake up and just say, what's on my calendar, right? And you would just see calendars with chock-a-block. It would go late into the night because now you're at home. You have no excuse of, being elsewhere, right? And people started, I think, and we started a program where people actually give back time. We said we encouraged people to remove a meeting. If you have initiated a meeting and put a meeting on somebody's calendar, if you remove that meeting, if it can be done by an email or a call or a text, please do that, but take that meeting out, right? So if the gift of time during the pandemic, you'll all appreciate, one meeting disappearing off a calendar is like a massive win, right? So I think it's important to show compassion, and all of these things can actually, help in building a strong workplace. Believe me, when you're working and you're having an off day, you want somebody having your back, right? And again, organizations must create cultures for that. Last but not least is flexibility, right? Be staunch on your values. Of course, values are non-negotiables, but do be open-minded and flexible about your opinion, right? We are increasingly living in a very polarized world, and opinions are flying, in all directions. I think it's important to keep an open mind, right? Sometimes people, commit too much to a point of view, which is not value-based, of course. And even in the face of new information, they almost find it like, it'll make them feel small if they pull back, right? There's absolutely no shame in changing your mind. In fact, I have a lot of admiration for clients or anybody who comes and says, you know what, this is what I thought, but given this new information, or after having thought about it, right, I believe I was wrong, and I'm happy to change my mind, right? I have had the privilege of working with really talented people in my entire career. And I think the one thing I've noticed is people, when something said in passing is what they latch on to and say, hey, hang on, what did you say, right? And the ability to build on that, even though they originally came from a different mindset, and then that leading to something big. I think please always watch out. I think sometimes, and I've seen this again happen in India more than anywhere else, is when you have, and I don't know if you've seen this, when you have brainstorming sessions, when somebody has suggested something, somebody very quickly jumps in with a very different point altogether without letting the previous idea breathe, right? So please if there is merit, just build on those ideas, even if they don't really align with what you originally thought, right? So I think it's very important to be flexible. The other thing, and again, this is something I've picked up off late, is I used to be somebody who used to strive for perfection. I don't do that anymore. I think perfection is overrated, right? And I would take progress over perfection. Where were you yesterday? Where are you today? Let's run with it, right? If we have something which is 70, 75% ready, absolutely go with it. You will make mistake, course correct on the go. Do not wait till you actually have a perfectly chiseled idea, right, that is 1 year late, right? So I think people sometimes, I think it's a fool's pursuit, right? Do we want to be as close to perfect? Absolutely. But also realize that, time and money are factors as well, right? We live in the real world. So it's very, very important to be flexible and just say, you know what, I think we have what we have, so let's run with this. Yeah. In all this, please realize that back yourself. You are human. You will make mistakes. I remember this very old story from the Roman era, right, during Caesar's time. Some of you might have heard it. It's something that I have carried on. It helps keep me grounded, which is every time the Romans came back to Rome after a victorious conquest, there would be these Romans, lining the roads, showering rose petals on the army, the victorious army that's coming back. And at the front of the army was the general, right? And the general would have a naked slave boy next to him. Have you heard the story? Right? So there's a naked slave boy from the streets who's next to the general, and everybody is the absolute adulation for the army. Caesar's waiting at the Roman gates. And you see the little boy is constantly whispering something into the general's ears. And the general, of course, has got a grim nod every time the little boy whispers something in his ear. And it turns out that the little boy is whispering, "You are but a mere mortal." Right? And I think it's good. You will have highs, but you'll also have lows. Right? I think it's an important lesson to keep in mind. So that's what I had to share with you today as you enter a new phase of your life, and I'm sure MICA has prepared you really well. There will be the rough and there will be the smooth. Please learn to take both in your stride. I wish you the very best. All the best.
Thank you, Mr. Gangadhar, for the nuggets of wisdom from your life experiences, professional and personal stories. Thank you so much. And now, for the much awaited announcements and felicitations for awards and certificates. So, for the year 23-24, we'll be starting with the PGDMC and PGDM programs, followed by CCC program. The first award of this morning is the specialization of advertising and brand management. As the motto is, think marketing, think MICA. This is a very popular specialization and attracts the maximum number of students. This year we had 134 students who took this specialization. So in a way, there are 134 nominees for this. This is, so in this iconic auditorium, the name of which most of us know is Mani Iyer Auditorium, and the award also is in his name. Mani Iyer Award for Academic Excellence in Advertising and Brand Management. What can you say about a man who took over as managing director at the tender age of 38? A man who pulled Ogilvy and Mather from a corporate crisis and reshaped it into one of the most successful advertising agencies in the country. After his retirement, that very few people would know, Mr. Mani Iyer joined MICA and became an inspiration for the then MICA students, faculty, staff, and governing council from April 1994 to 2001 March. This award is a tribute to his memory and comprises of a merit certificate, a medal, and a cash award. May I call on stage Professor Anita Basalingappa and Professor Falguni, the leader of the specialization, to join us on the stage. And with a GPA of 3.85, the award goes to, guesses? Ananya Sharma. Request both of you to stay back. The next award is the AAAI Raman Memorial Award. The prestigious AAAI Raman Memorial Award is instituted in the memory of late Mr. T.S. Raman by his son, Mr. Rajan Raman. Mr. T.S. Raman was one of the founding fathers of Indian Advertising and Advertising Agencies Association of India, from which comes the name AAAI. For a record, Dattaram Advertising Private Limited is the first advertising agency in India and successfully completed 100+ years. The award comprises of a merit certificate and a cash award. The runner-up first in this category with a GPA of 3.69 is Swati Gangadhar Lambat. Congratulations. And the winner again with a GPA of 3.85 is Ananya Sharma. So Ananya, please. Thanks to Dattaram Advertising Agency for constituting the award and encouraging the students continuously. Thank you, Professor Falguni and Anita. The next award is for topper in communications area, and I invite Professor Pooja on stage. As a sign of recognition towards a student who has engaged with communication and culture studies with consistent commitment, the Institute has introduced an award. This is for the topper in communication area for consistency and excellence, both in the first year and the second year. Please note the emphasis on consistency, which you will keep hearing again and again when you join the industry. The award is for application and performance of ideas in the communications domain, and may I call on stage for that. The award comprises of a merit certificate and a cash award. With a GPA of 4, the winner is Kuhu Kopal. Pooja, please stay back. Sorry, please stay back. The next is topper from Cultural Analysis and Application course for securing the highest marks in the class and exhibiting exemplary industry application in the course Cultural Analysis and Application. This again comprises of a merit certificate and cash award with a GPA of 4.13. The winner is Natasha D'Souza. Pooja, please stay back. Yeah. Is Bikram around? All right. So the best performing industry project group for the course Cultural Analysis and Applications, may I call on stage the team members, and I will call out the names of the team members. Bharg Viral Mankori, Ritik Gulati, Angela Gufran. The claps must go on. The team, please join us on the stage. The project title was Reinventing Real Beauty, and their mentor was Professor Bikram. Ritik Gulati. All right, in absentia, please, Bharg. Congratulations, all of you. Thank you. And now we have the next award, Topper for Consistency and Excellence in the Business Management area for both the years. And I invite the members of the Business Management area, Professor Panda, Professor Taral. Please join us on stage. And Sunita, yes, Professor Sunita. आ तो जाइए. आइए. Any other BM area faculty? I am also going to join them. So this is our business area leader is not here, Professor Niyati, and we all will be representing the area. And the award comprises of a merit certificate and a cash prize with a GPA of 3.68, and this takes into consideration the performance of the student in first and second year in all the business management area courses ranging from economics, quantitative techniques, finance, organizational behavior, and HR. Saurabh, you should be here too. This award, yes, and this goes to, with a GPA of 3.68, goes to Sakshi Kanodia. Thank you all. MICA Rural Immersion Project Awards. A part of the academic requirement, this is for the chief guest as well as the parents and family members. The second year students of PGDM-C and PGDM immerse in and conduct research in rural areas in different parts of the country. Upon the completion of the project, the Rural Immersion Research Report is evaluated by a panel of faculty. This unique exercise, adopted by MICA, more or less from the initial batches, is greatly appreciated by the industry. May I call on stage Professor Arvind Sinha, Professor Vaswani, if he's here, and Professor Kalol. Please join us on stage. These awards, please come, Professor Sinha, to give away the award. These awards comprise of merit certificate and cash prize. I request, there are two teams. I request the runner-up team members to come on stage. Asmita N. Raj, Atharva Bhave, Akshit Mathur, Ramola Vats. The partner was Gujarat Government Rural Development Department, and faculty mentor was Professor Kalol. The project title was, it's interesting to listen to this one, Transformative Evaluation of Solid and Liquid Waste Management Assets in Gujarat under SBMG across diverse landscapes. Congratulations, this is only the runner-up team. Kalol, is Kalol here? मैं आ जाती हूँ. And now please stay back, Professor Sinha. I now request the winning team members to come on a stage as I call out your names. Ananya Sharma, Ekta Jain, Purva Gupta, Malay Thakral. The partner was Samvedna Foundation and the faculty mentor was Professor Harmony Siganporia. The title again, Introducing Design Thinking in Vasant Pathshala and Teaching Usage of Design Thinking Tools and Frameworks. And the next award, thank you, Professor Sinha. The next award for the specialization of data science and business analytics. 14 students opted for the specialization. This also includes a capstone project led by Group M. The specialization curriculum includes programming, database management, machine learning, deep learning, natural language processing, consumer insight mining, and marketing research. The award comprises of a merit certificate, medal, and a cash prize. May I call upon stage Professor Suresh and Professor Mini, the PGP chairs. If Professor Ashutosh is here, then please join us to give away this award. Come, Suresh and Mini. Yes, Mayank will also come. Join us, Mayank. Mayank is here, going to come here for a long time. Please, may I, yes, thank you for joining. The award comprises of a merit certificate, a medal, and a cash prize. With a GPA of 3.81, the award goes to, any guesses? Harshi Urmil Shah. Thank you. Thank you, Professor Suresh and Mini. The next award is DCM Capstone Best Project Award for the academic year 23-24. The project is about how to build a lean startup and successfully organize sales, marketing, and business development, particularly using customer development methodology. The award comprises of a merit certificate and a cash prize. May I call upon stage Professor Mayank? And now I request and Professor Vinod. Now I request the winning team members to join on stage as I call out your names. Atharva Bhave again, Arvind Kumar, and Herath Kumar Talati. You see how happy we are as faculty, and you are getting the awards. Thank you. Thank you. Stay back, stay back. Please stay back. The next one is Search and Display Advertising Best Project Award. It is recognition of their skills at managing the various factors that are constantly at play in the live environment. May I also invite Professor Suresh and Mini to join. Professor Suresh and Mini as PGP chairs. I invite the winning team. As I call off your names, there are 8 names. Hrithik Gulati, Subrita Sood, Angela Gufran, Sai Birajdar, Shantanu Sharma, Swati Lambat, Ananya Johari, and Manasvi Srivastav. Thank you, Professor Mini and Suresh. Please stay back, Professor Mayank. The next award is Digital Marketing Analytics Best Project Award. And it also consists of a merit certificate and a cash prize. I invite the winning team members, Ishita Sureka, Manasvi Srivastav, and Priyanshi Singhal. The project was on social media listening, Myntra versus Ajio. Congratulations. Thank you, Professor Mayank and Vinod. And now we move on to the Media and Entertainment Management category. 52 students opted for this specialization. I invite Professor Santosh Patra. This Now what I'm going to read out is for the chief guest and the family members. I know you all know about what the media management specialization is about. The specialization deals with the role of various media in building the brands, encompassing a range of topics from media buying, planning, and strategizing, and using statistical tools required for assessing the performance of the media vehicles. The award comprises of a merit certificate, a medal and a cash prize. With a GPA of 3.66, the winner is, guesses? Soham Mukhopadhyay. Soham, you stay back, please, Professor Santosh. The next award is in the same specialization, has been sponsored by Divya Bhaskar Group. This is named as Divya Bhaskar Scholarship of Academic Excellence in Media and Entertainment Management. And there are 2 awards here in the form of merit certificate and cash. For the runner-up in this segment, there is a tie. GPA of 3.52 between Bharg Mankodi and Saloni Sangvi. Kindly stay back because the winner has to be announced. Thank you, Saloni and Bharg. And the topper with GPA of 3.66 is Soham again, Soham Mukhopadhyay. Okay. We move on to the best award in advanced courses. Each student is required to choose 2 out of the 4 advanced courses: marketing with responsibility, gamification, global geopolitics and business, and behavioral economics in the second year. And the student who secures highest GPA in the opted courses will be the topper and recipient of this award. May I request Professor Panda and Professor Santosh again to come on the stage to give away the award, and I will also kindly join the 2 of you, if you allow. The award is, please come, Professor Panda and Professor Santosh. The award is in the form of a merit certificate and a cash award. The topper of this category is none of them. With a GPA of 4.33 is Asmita N. Raj. Thank you, Professor Santosh and Professor Rasanand. And now for the Best Dissertations Award. This course, by opting to work on a dissertation, MICA students conduct independent research and strive to contribute to original piece of knowledge. May I call on stage the dissertation chairs, although I don't see them here, Professor Harmony and Professor Varsha. If they are not here, then are you here, Professor Harmony and Professor Varsha? Okay. So let me first, PGP chairs, please. The award is in the form of a merit certificate and a cash award, and there are 3 awards here. The second, please join us on stage. आ जाइए सुरेश, इतना काम किया है हम लोगों ने. The second runner-up with the project title, and that will give away, Effect of Experience Curation on Community Building in the Alcohol Beverage Industry, faculty guide Santosh Patra, and the name is Sakshi Katet. संतोष आ जाओ ना. हाँ? मैं आ रहा. Guide is coming. हाँ हाँ. The first runner-up with the project Effectiveness of Content Posted by Virtual Influencers on the Instagram for Consumer. Please stay back, Minnie. Instagram for Consumer with the faculty guide who is not here. She's traveling overseas, Professor Varsha Jain. The name is Digant Vesh. Congratulations, Digant. And Professor Mini, wait. And the winner is, guesses? Bhavya Gupta. Scope of Sustainability in Political Advertising in the Context of Gen Z Voters. Guide is Professor Ashutosh. He is also not here. And the next award is for the rarest of the rare, is KEIC Best User Award. KEIC, for all those who don't know, I'm sure a lot of you would also not know, it is MICA Knowledge Exchange and Information Center. Everywhere else, they like to say it library, but we do it differently. This is a center dedicated to the collection, collation, and dissemination of knowledge, information, and data. The KIC Best User Award is given every year to that student who makes the most use of KIC and is based on parameters such as physical visits, hours spent, books borrowed, and pages viewed online. The award is sponsored by Allied Publishers Subscription Agency, and now I call upon stage Dr. Chintan Pandya, head of KEIC, to give away the award. The award is in the form of a merit certificate and a cash award for PGDM C and PGDM batch. It is, any guesses? Mehir Shah. And there is one for CCC as well. And the name for the CCC winner, please stay back, Dr. Chintan. The name for the CCC winner is Vidhi Saraswat. Thank you, Dr. Chintan. And now we come to the, as you can imagine, we are inching towards the closure of the ceremony, and the next set of awards are Dean's Awards for Exemplary Conduct and Performance. MICA celebrates students' holistic learning, including sincerity, professionalism, and academic achievements. The Dean's Award for Exemplary Conduct is given to 3 MICA students to recognize the overall best and balanced efforts across academics, campus and corporate activities, community contributions, student leadership, and global citizenship. May I call on the stage Professor Geeta, our Dean, and Chief Guest Mr. T. Gangadhar to give away these awards. There are 3 awards for both PGDMC and PGDM. The awards are in the form of merit certificate and a cash award. And okay, the winners are, and this is, should I do the runners up? It's not mentioned here, but I'll do that. Runner up to Dhruv Aryan Kundra. .81 attendance and CGPA of 3.05. Runner up, thank you. You please stay. Thank you and congratulations, Dhruv. The second runner up is Soham Mukhopadhyay with 99.23 attendance and CGPA of 3.47. He also is the winner of marketing quiz Inside Out held by MICA. And the winner is Namit Gupta with 100% attendance and CGPA of 3.48. He also was the national finalist. Namit was also the national finalist to Policy Odyssey under Advait held by Global Trade Observer and ISB Hyderabad. For some more. For CCC to 33rd batch, the winners are Kashish Chaudhary, 100% attendance. Kashish Chaudhary, 100% attendance with GPA of 80. Congratulations, Kashish. And Vidhi Saraswat, 100% attendance again. And Deepthi Priyanka, 100% attendance again. With a percentage of respectively 80%, 79% and 77%. Thank you. Congratulations, Vidhi, Deepthi, and with Kashish. Thank you, Professor Hegde and Mr. Gangadhar. Mr. Gangadhar, please stay back. Now, may I call upon stage Professor Mehta to give away the President's Award for Academic Excellence for maintaining CGPA of 3.50 consistently for the first and second year in the PGDMC and PGDM programs. The history goes back to the year 2001 when the then director, Professor Atul Tandon, known as PAT, instituted the Director's Award for Academic Excellence. It consists of a merit certificate and a cash reward. The runner-up for this award is Harshi Urmil Shah with a CGPA of 3.67. Congratulations, Harshi. The winner of the award with a CGPA of 3.71 is, no guesses now, Ananya Sharma. I'm requesting Professor Mehta and Mr. Gangadhar to stay back on the stage and also invite Professor Hegde. Next one is Satpal Singh Virdi Memorial Award for the best all-round performance of the graduating batch, who has excelled not just in academics but in various other spheres such as competitions, committee work, in leadership roles. The award, constituted in 2011, has been sponsored by a MICA alum who, for his own reasons, wishes to remain anonymous in memory of a batchmate who passed away. For choosing the winner of the award, we invited the students to send their self-nominations, and later a review committee went over all the portfolios received and chose the winner. The award consists of a merit certificate and a cash award. The best all-rounder of the graduating batch of PGDMC PGDM for the Satpal Singh Virdi Memorial Award goes to Chirag Sanjay Kamath. Congratulations, Chirag. Thank you, Professor Mehta, Professor Hegde, and Mr. Gangadhar. It is the Academic Excellence Awards not only remain within the institution, but as we all know that the competitions won elsewhere keep the MICA flag high. We will not be able to call out all the names, and even for the Satpal Singh Virdi Award, it was a very tough competition. The committee told us that it was extremely difficult for them to pick. And so, I will only mention one of the exceptional achievement of our student competitions. It is our pleasure to acknowledge the exceptional achievement by 3 of our students whom I invite to join on the stage: Anjali Shah, Laksh Walia, and Pooja Sharma. They represented MICA and India. A round of applause for them as they walk up. They represented MICA and India at the international finals of the L'Oreal Brandstorm competition in Paris, alongside top 10 teams from around the world. L'Oreal Brandstorm is one of the most prestigious innovation competitions held at the international level, inviting around 1 lakh participants from 72 countries. Their dedication and creative spirit have brought pride to our institution. Today we celebrate their success and commend their representation on the global stage. A big round of applause once again for all of them. Thank you, and wish you all the very best, the winners as well those of us who clapped, including the faculty who do not receive this kind of an applause. And now I invite Professor Simha and Professor Falguni, CCC co-chair, for declaring the CCC awards. It's going to be a surprise, so they never gave us the list. No, I didn't receive any. So, यहाँ से नाम पढ़िए. I will do that. Of course I will. Yeah, I can see it. This category is President's Award for Best Integrated Digital Campaign of the Year, and hence I request Professor Mehta on the stage. And there are 3 awards in this category. The 3rd place, Priya Baldwan. The 2nd place, S. Karthik. And the 1st place after. Congratulations, Priya. Congratulations, Karthik. And 1st place goes to Karanpreet Singh. The next category. The next category is Best Brand Identity. And the winners are Srishti Saxena and Dhwani Sutaria. Congratulations, Srishti and Dhwani. The next category is Best Long Copy, Packaging and Blogging. Winner is Priya Baldwa. And Priya Baldwa stays here for the next award as well, which is Best Video Campaign. Priya? Two, yes. Murtaza? And now the category is Best Filmmaking. Winner team. The name of the team is Godrej Air Freshener. And team members are Ipshita, Karanpreet, Kashish, Manjusha, Soumya and Vidhi. And the next one is, the winning team is Flight Footwear, and team members are, is it the same? No, then what happened to the Godrej Air? Acha, so some of you will stay back. I thought I didn't goof up. So winner team, Footwear, I'll read out the names: Ipshita, Karanpreet, Kashish, Manjusha, Soumya and Vidhi. A big round of applause. I can take one. There are more, so there's one more. The category is Sai and Anuja Award for Virtuosity and Leadership. And the winners are Anand Menon, Manav Joshi, and Srishti Saxena. Congratulations, Anand, Manav, and Srishti. Keep doing the good work, all of you. Thank you, Professor Mehta, Professor Falguni, and Sima. May I congratulations to all the winners. And now I invite Professor Geeta Hegde to give the congratulatory note.
What an event this has been. Congratulations to all of you, the entire batch of PGP2 and also the CCC who are present here. A big round of applause to all of you. Congratulations. And especially for the awardees. Today I'm filled with great pride as we celebrate the achievements of all the winners, and I extend my heartfelt congratulations to you all. Achieving award of excellence is no small feat. It requires dedication, perseverance, and unwavering commitment to academic and personal growth, especially amongst the group as diverse and as skilled as we have here at MICA. As we mark the success, it is important to reflect on the journey that you have led to this moment. Each student's path to success has been unique, filled with challenges, triumphs, and countless hours of hard work. But through it all, you have to remember that you have stood steadfast in your pursuit of excellence. Your thirst for knowledge and passion for learning serves as an inspiration to all of us and all the rest of your colleagues as well. Always remember that excellence extends beyond the classroom. It encompasses leadership, creativity, and a willingness to make a difference in the world around us. You should appreciate the contribution of your peers, family, faculty members who have been instrumental towards your achievements, and that I reiterate, this award goes to all of you, all of them who have been around you and supported in achieving this, in achieving the special awards. One of the fundamental lessons we learn in life is that the importance of teamwork and the contribution of others. As Michael Jordan, the basketball legend, once said, talent wins games, but teamwork and intelligence wins championships. So I think the teamwork that has helped you, and also the ecosystem and the friends and the family members especially have contributed a lot to this award that each one of you have won today. Each award recipient here today has undoubtedly benefited from the support and collaboration of others, whether it be the faculty who ignited a passion for learning, classmates who provided encouragement and continue to provide encouragement that I see here, and camaraderie of family members who offered unwavering support to your success is a testament to the power of teamwork and collaboration. So your victory today is also the victory of those who have inspired you and stood by you, and these are the connections that you would nurture for a lifetime. As you embark on the next chapter of your journey, remember the lessons you have learned and the challenges you have overcome. Carry with you the spirit of excellence that that has brought you to this moment, and never lose sight of your potential to make a difference to the world. Congratulations once again to all of the award recipients, and may your future be filled with continued success, happiness, and fulfillment. Thank you.
Thank you, Professor Geeta. May I now invite Professor Mehta to share his closing remarks on the award ceremony.
What a pleasure it is to stand before you and to see so much of energy here in the morning, right? Normally, MICA perks up a little bit later in the day, but it's so wonderful to see everybody up and bright-eyed and bushy-tailed. I want to pick up on a theme that our chief guest, Mr. Gangadhar, talked about. That his definition of happiness was a cold night, a warm fire, and great stories, right? Did I get that right? Now that may seem effortless, right? Great stories may seem effortless. And maybe really creative people can wing a pitch in 30 minutes. But really behind those 30 minutes may be 30 years of hard work. And really the whole theme for this morning was about hard work, application, and execution in a variety of domains. And that's the beauty of MICA. As I was looking at all of you, as I was looking at the categories for all the different awards, you could not find a better mix. This is really holistic development of the kind that only MICA does. And it's not just development in the classroom. It is development outside of the classroom at MICA. And not just outside the classroom at MICA, outside MICA in the world. And the way in which we have recognized all of you makes me proud. When I look at all of you, and I was looking at the dozens of you who walked here, I was standing, as it were, at the doorway between the past and the future in the present, and seeing what you had done in the past, but also visualizing what you're doing, what you're going to be doing in the future. Amongst you, I see great filmmakers. Amongst you, I see great entrepreneurs. Amongst you, I see great CEOs. Amongst you, I also see great marketing and communication and creative and management professionals. All this is coming, and the foundations of all of that were laid right here. And they were measured in the diverse ways that only our faculty can measure. So a big hand, ladies and gentlemen, for all the people who put you here. That is our great faculty. And a big hand also for the staff members at MICA who make it possible for all of you to shine. And of course, a big hand for all of you. I will close by talking about 3 words, which in some sense will encompass your journey, past, present, and future. You see, we are all born with a certain swabhav. That is our intrinsic nature. I remember my son, he really is a MICA at heart, even though he has never attended MICA, because the first thing that he recognized, and he was born in the US and his first 6 years were spent there, was the logo of the FedEx truck. So he would be 2 and he'd say, "Papa, FedEx truck." And when he was 6 or 7, his recreational activity was drawing logos of companies from memory. And I think I remember, I still have that page. On his 10th birthday, just as he was lying on his bed, he drew 200 logos from memory, very exact. So it was very clear what his swabhav was. He is who he is. And I may say whatever, or I may wish whatever, but he is what he is. And my job as a parent is to nurture his individuality, just as our job here at MICA is to nurture your unique swabhav. Swabhav leads to swadharma. Dharma is not religion. Dharma is that which is the basis of everything. And your swabhav plus your time at MICA has helped you identify your swadharma, what you're going to do in the world. That tells you how you leverage your unique capabilities and the unique opportunities that you have to craft for yourself, which will be the 3rd word, which is swarup. Right? So swadharma, swabhava, swadharma, and swarup. And as I stand here, I can only imagine how all of you will shine in the next 10 years, in the next 20 years, and next 30 years. Let me close by sharing an exhortation from Rahi Masoom Raza. He famously said, "Lagai jinhone aid, wo pahunch gaye us par. Lagai jinhone aid, wo pahunch gaye us par. Jo hichkichaye, wo bas dekhte hi reh gaye." So I would say आप लोग आप लोग आप लोग हिचकिचाने वाले नहीं हैं. आप लोग हिचकिचाने वाले नहीं हैं. That I know. आप लोग एड़ लगाएंगे और उस पार या पता नहीं किस पार पहुंच जाएंगे और सारी दुनिया देखेगी. Thank you.
Thank you, Professor Mehta. It's always a pleasure to listen to something very different. May I now invite PGP chairs to give their vote of thanks before Professor Simha and team will play after the vote of thanks. Please join, please join. So vote of thanks typically is the last item on the agenda, but we at MICA want to do everything differently, so we don't want to do that. We don't want to take away the joy of a film, but thanks are very important. So over to Professor Mini.
Thank you, Professor Gaur. I know this is the most difficult task because if you miss out on anyone, you will yourself feel bad. So I'm standing here on behalf of MICA and the entire community as we come together to celebrate and honor the achievements of our graduates. Let me thank few people, and I'm sorry if I miss out on any of, I'm not naming because it's a team effort that we are doing here, always as far as any activity at MICA is concerned. First of all, let me thank our guest gangs, wherein he talked about simplicity, he talked about compassion, and he had put together his 30 years journey in few minutes. And I think what I read about him, that LE5, wherein you're trying to make it as simple as possible. So thank you for that, and thank you for making it to MICA. Next, we'd like to thank Professor Mehta, our President and Director, for always pushing us towards academic excellence. Thank you, sir. And so our fruit, that's the fruit of your your focus on academic excellence. Thank you, Dean ma'am, for the support and guidance that you have been giving us, and making this particular event possible. Madam Registrar and her office to integrating with the PGP office and putting things well in place. I'll also like to thank, and I think Professor Mehta also did mention about for the faculty and the staff, is thanks to all the colleagues for the mentorship that they offer to our students and nurturing the minds and hearts of our graduates. So thank you, a big thanks to my faculty colleagues. One office which has been working tirelessly for last few days is program office, wherein they ensure that the right award goes to right people, and they work on really details wherein they coordinate with different areas. So thanks to all in the program office team. Thanks to KEIC, because I know they facilitate learning because they offer us a lot of resources. So thanks to KEIC team for facilitating learning of our graduates. Thanks to account office for making it possible to kind of make these awards and arranging in terms of the monetary part. Thanks to the design team for designing the certificates and a lot of graphics at MICA. We are profoundly grateful to administration, IT and marketing for the support that they have been providing for this particular event at MICA. And last but not the least, to all the awardees, to all the students who are, and I have been hearing in the back with some of my colleagues saying well deserved. So thanks for raising the bar. I know some of our CGPA that Professor Gaur talked about is better than last year. So thank you for that. And thank you to all the parents who are here, because you have shown belief in your wards, you have shown faith in us at MICA. So thank you for encouraging your wards. And a last word, last word to the graduating batch is, please keep expressing the gratitude and keep this energy as you, and we will look forward for you to coming back at MICA. Thank you.
So thank you, Professor Mini. And the last item of this award ceremony is a film which will be presented once the lights are switched off. Is that what you're saying, Sima? Yeah. And after that, all the awardees are requested to go to the My Cafe area for a group photograph with the chief guest and leadership as well as all faculty colleagues. So
Okay, hi. I'll just give you a 2-minute background on this. The filmmaking module is the most sought after module in CCC. The students not only have to develop an insight, they have to develop a creative idea based on the script, they have to write the script, they have to develop a shooting script, they have to shoot the film, they have to do post-production, and they have to present it. And they have to do all this in 3 days. Yeah. And they have to do 4 such films in 3 days. Okay, it's quite a massive undertaking. I mean, everybody is under stress. You could have seen them running around with cameras and ADs and cast, I think sometime the end of October. This entire project is mentored by Professor Darshan and his team. So he gets a couple of big hand if he's there. So we had given the students 4 brands. I won't tell you all the brands, I'll just tell you about the winner, which is Godrej Air. So the team which is behind Godrej Air, just stand up and take a bow. It's a show reel, is it? Okay. Of the 4 films. Okay. Oh, sorry, this is the show reel.
Net is working.
Okay, this is the film that won the award.
वक्त को चाहत से और बेचैनी को मुझसे, रात की चादर तले सिरहानों के टेक पर, कभी कमर के बल तो कभी पेट के, अंगड़ाई लो। घर की तरफ जाते हुए कदमों में जोश कुछ ज्यादा ही होता है, दिल में ख्याल उमड़ते हैं कुछ होने वाला है। आज रोशनी को पर्दों से कुछ ज्यादा मोलभाव करना होगा, वक्त को चाहत से और बेचैनी को मुझसे, रात की चादर तले सिरहानों के टेक पर, कभी कमर के बल तो कभी पेट के, अंगड़ाई लो तो सोफा हल्की सी सिसकी लेकर मानो यूं बोलता है, अब तो कर ही ले। मन में ख्याल आता है कि कर ही लूं, बस कुछ नहीं। गोदरेज एयर, घर वही जहां करो कुछ नहीं।
Okay, we'll also play the ones that didn't win.
There you go, sir, your chocolate muffin. For you. Enjoy your food. Do tell me how it is. Good evening, sir. What would you like to have?
One Americano.
Iced or hot?
Iced.
Having here or take away?
Take away.
On it.
Heavy read, right?
Yep.
So, how are you liking the book, by the way?
Well, Graham's wisdom on the margin of safety is just timeless.
Sir, your Americano is ready.
So, let's continue this conversation maybe over a cup of coffee.
Evening 4?
Perfect.
See you.
Bye-bye.
Good evening, ma'am. What would you like to have?
One latte?
Good choice, I must say. Well, you are into latte art?
Everyone has their story, but we often meet them mid-chapter. Another fan of Ved Roy? Accountant reading poetry? Really?
It's my book, sir.
Anyway, reports at 3 then.
Yes, sir.
He clocks in on time, does his job, and leaves. To me, he was just that, an accountant, living an ordinary life. But when you look up and look closely, you would see that these are the people who break free in small ways, who dare to dream differently, who shape the world quietly every day.
I told you it was my book, sir. Ved Roy.
Neiman's turn every step into a story.
No matter who you are, no matter where you go in your life, at some point you're going to need somebody to stand by you.
When the night has come and the land is dark and the moon is the only light we'll see. No, I won't just as long as you stand by me. So darling, darling, stand by me. Oh, stand by me. Oh, stand by me. Stand by me.
No matter who.
You're done.
Thank you. Thank you, Professor Sima and CCC team. The award ceremony is officially closed. Please, awardees, please join us for a group photograph in the My Cafe area.